Hi class. So let me start with the question, what is procrastination? This week we've talked a lot about it. Here's a favorite quote of mine. Can you relate to this statement? Never do today what you can put off till tomorrow. If that's something that you can hear inside your head, you know that you procrastinate. There are several forms of procrastination that we want to talk about today. One is, several of us can just ignore the task and hope that it goes away. Can you relate to that? How about, have you ever underestimated how long something will take? Or overestimating your abilities and resources to get things done that you didn't think you had a problem with the time in order to get it done, only to find out later on time was out and you ran out of time. Okay, well, how about telling yourself that you're a poor performer is okay? These are often characteristics and forms of procrastination. Okay? Additional forms of procrastination, doing something else that isn't very important when you know you have something more important to do. Believing that repeated, quote, minor delays won't hurt you before you get to what you really need to be doing. Talking about a hard job rather than doing it. Sometimes we plan a hard job, but we never get around to the actual completion of the project. Putting all your work only onto one part of the task, and a lot of times that part of the task may be the most enjoyable part of the task. Or becoming paralyzed when you have too many choices to choose from and you can't get started. These are all forms of procrastination. Next, we're going to talk a little bit about time management myths that exist, okay? Again, as they relate to our time management, if you hear yourself saying things such as these, I work better under pressure and time management would take away that edge. That's oftentimes a time management myth that many students believe. Oftentimes we'll tell ourselves, people take time management too seriously and that takes the fun out of it. Or stuff that they teach you in time management is a lot of work and I don't have time for that. I've actually heard people say that. Okay, these are impacting aspects and myths that we believe and that steal us of their time to get things done. Time management does actually work for people who do it. They find themselves as more productive. It can reduce your stress because now you know what you need to do and how much time you have to do it. That takes away the stress of if you're going to be able to get everything done. Also, you can conquer multitasking and you can reach your goals. Okay, types of time management. In this class, we talk about long-term planning, our goals, what's down the road that we're trying to get to. Weekly planning and daily planning. Okay? Before and during your study time, I want you to learn how to say no when you don't have time. We can get tied up with helping other people all the time and never be able to get around to helping ourselves. Never is this more true than those of us that have families, okay? There's always needs that other people want us to help meet, and there's nothing wrong with that. But we also have to prioritize our education, okay? Using an answer machine or our phone machine to return calls at your convenience, that is something that you want to use instead of always answering your phone, okay? Telephone is a major time killer, both talking on the phone and doing all the other things that we can do with our phone these days. Learning to say, I can't talk right now, I'll get back to you, are powerful words that you need to put into your vocabulary if you are to be able to increase your study time. And just record the shows that you like to view and watch them at another time rather than watching them live. Set aside particular time for studying, and then you can go back and watch the shows that you've recorded. So those are some tips that I want you to keep in mind when it comes to managing your time and having more time to study. Okay? Another thing, I want to talk about what is called the ABC Daily To-Do List. This is simply taking a look at all the things that you have to do in a given day and prioritizing them into 3 categories, okay? The A's are the most important things, the things that need to be done today. The B's are important, but they're not as important as the A's, okay? They should be done today, but if you don't get to them, then you know you have tomorrow at hand. And the C's, they don't require your immediate attention. If you get to them, that's great. But if not, you'll get to them tomorrow or the next day. Okay, and so what you do is you just take all the things that you have on your plate and you categorize them in the A, B, or C list. And the most important thing is then to take the A list and work those things off first. As someone once said, it's called working your A's off. Okay? Hope you got that. Okay, the next thing, tips. Know when your best time is to study and make sure that you study at that particular time. That's when you're the most alert. For me, it's in the morning. From other family members of mine, it's late at night. We're completely different. I can't study late at night. My brain's dead. You got to pay attention to when you can learn the best and focus your attention at that time. And block more than enough time to prioritize your activities, especially for the highly important things. Everything always pretty much takes more time than we think that it will, and you need to plan accordingly in order to be able to have enough time. Focus on the activities that are the greatest long-term results for you. Again, those are going to be the things we're going to be putting in that A list we just talked about. And constantly ask yourself throughout the day, especially when you're just meandering around on the internet, what's the best use of my time right now? And go get it done. That is the way you manage your time. Okay? Make use of waiting time. If you have 3x5 cards you use them when you're standing in line. Okay? Don't just sit around, but do something that's productive. Make use of travel time if you're riding in a car or on a bus. Pick one task and focus just on it fully instead of being scattered over several different things, trying to get things done all at one time. And set deadlines for yourself. Take a look at your syllabus at the beginning of the class, beginning of the semester, and set deadlines to get those things done well ahead of the deadline. Okay? Carry a notepad or schedule with you. Phones these days have those in them. We want to use that in order to keep track of everything that we need to do. Okay, each night before bed, I want you to, write down your to-do list for the next day and prioritize them like as the ways that we've discussed, okay? And be realistic in what we can do. Sometimes I can think I can get all the stuff done where in the back of my mind I know that I can't. You got to think about those things and push them off to another day and just focus on the most important things. Break up large study blocks of your time into smaller chunks. Studies show we learn best for about 20-30 minutes, and then our memory goes down as we continue to study in one large setting. We want to break this up into several smaller blocks of time so that you can remember the material. So it might be 3 half-hour study blocks as opposed to 1 hour-and-a-half long study session. Take breaks when you need to, but don't watch TV. That's for the time killer that it's hard to pull away from, and we don't get back to our studying. And always study in one particular place if you can. Make it your own spot, whether it's a seat in the library at your home. Get your mind used to when you sit in this particular place, this is where you study, okay? Okay, do you have a semester calendar? Like I said, they're available on your phone. What I want to recommend is that you look at your syllabus for the class at the beginning of the semester and start blocking all the days and times the classes and the labs meet. Block out other obligations that you have on a weekly basis too, whether it's work or church or meetings, whatever it might be, and highlight all the exams that you put on your schedule so that they stick out with due dates for you to prepare for them. Okay, I'm going to skip over this. If you commute to school, you can always listen to the lectures. You might record them on your phone, whatever it might be, but you make use of that time. Okay, if you're writing, like I said, in a vehicle, then you can be looking at your material rather than just sitting there staring out the window. Okay, so these are just some tips that I had for time management. Hope it helps.